Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for another tier list, an updated version in April, as promised. In the last tier list, I said I was going to try to update this every single month, and I'm going to try my best to keep that. And I want you guys to also hold me to that. Before we get into anything, let me just give you guys a quick preview of the list because you're not able to see the entire thing on one screen. So there we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and get the disclaimers out of the way. So first and foremost, this is all my opinion, not my opinion, my channel's opinion, I'd say. That's the best way to put it. So first off, this list was just my opinion, but now every time I update it, it's going to be my opinion plus your guys' opinions as well, because I used to do this and I'm going to continue to do it now. But when I was making this, the second tier list, the first thing I did was open up my first tier list video and I read through every single comment, read through all of them. And based on those comments, I made a lot of changes to the list. A lot of you guys really liked the list, really agreed. It was really positive feedback. Really appreciate that, first of all, so thank you. And a lot of just good detailed feedback, and it was very nicely put, which I love to read, and that's why I made so many changes. So it's more of like a community and channel tier list. But again, it's just a tier list, man. This doesn't mean just because Tigra is here and Dr. Voodoo is here, it doesn't mean that Tigra is better than Voodoo in every single matchup in the game. This game is super matchup dependent. There could be certain fights where Man Thing is way better than Dr. Doom for a fight. That doesn't mean Man Thing's the best Mystic champ in the game, but that happens. It really depends. You should rank not based off tier list. You should rank based off what you need. And fill out your roster in a good balanced way, I'd say. But at the end of the day, it's your roster and you can rank whoever you want. Just use this as a rough guide, So okay, with all those disclaimers now out of the way, let's get into some good stuff. And just real quick, I want to mention that if you stay until the end of the video, I have something a little extra and a little special. So yeah, stick around to the end if you want to hear about that. But let's go ahead and start talking about the two newest champions to update, and that's Captain Britain and Omega Sentinel. So let's go ahead and get started with Captain Britain. Unfortunately, she's ending up in the demigod tier. So I think she has potential for god tier, but when I was thinking about her and looking at all these champions, I was like, I don't feel like she's on the same level. So I'm going to leave her in demigod tier for now. This is definitely one I would like your guys' feedback on. Let me know if you agree or if we should give her a rank up to god tier or maybe a rank down to buffable tier. I've seen some good things from Brandon McGuire with her. She seems good. She seems god tier in certain matchups, like against Kingpin and just shrugging champion that shrug debuffs. Like in the matchup she's meant for, she does seem pretty good, but not even like crazy good. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave her here for now. Let me know what you guys think. We can always give her a promotion or a demotion in the next one. Really look forward to hearing your guys' feedback on that one, because I don't know everything about every champion. So and I'm not afraid to ask for help. So guys, lend me your opinions on this one, so we can figure it out going forward. But Omega Sentinel, this one I am pretty confident in my opinion on, and I feel well informed about Omega Sentinel. So we have her in the Beyonder tier easily. So real quick also, if you see, obviously this is the tech class, we got some pink font here. This just basically means that although all these champions are in the same tier, these highlighted champions I personally think are better than the rest of the champions in this tier. So I think Warlock, Omega Sentinel, and Nimrod are better than the rest of these tech champions, but I think they're all still in the Beyonder tier. I honestly want to make a new tier in between Beyonder and Wall, but at the same time I don't. I also kind of want to make another tier going lower, but again, also don't want to do that. I feel like this is good where it's at, but I don't know. Also made some changes with the coloring and font. Hope it is better on the eyes. But yeah, so last tier list we had G1829 here, so she got a bit of a demotion. I think Nimrod has really proven himself, especially to me in the last month. I definitely think he's a top tech champion. So I have him highlighted now. But Omega Sentinel, man, she is absolutely incredible. And she has so much going on, and it feels like if you look at her kit and then compare it to just other new champions, or even the champion she came out with, Captain Britain, her kit is just so much more stacked. It feels like there's just so much more in it, and it feels like it's on purpose, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It also seems like Kabam halted the entire rebalancing program just so that people would spend more on her specifically, and so that people wouldn't worry about her being changed, because she is that powerful. This champion is insane. That's what it seems like. I'm not saying that as a fact. That's just what it appeared to be like about the rebalancing program, everything like that. But Omega Sentinel is just so stacked, man. It's ridiculous. I think Nimrod is a better mutant slayer than Omega Sentinel, but I mean, she is a great mutant slayer, but I think outside of those mutant matchups, she is way better than Nimrod. And but it's good. I feel like it's better for Nimrod to specialize in that, and then her to be good in those matchups, but also just really good outside of those matchups. She has so much just baked in utility, and being immune to being a robot and taking damage from bleeding poison, but also still getting them, and also getting regen from them. Being immune to Fate Seal, Nullify, Stagger is insane. As a tech champion, I think she's the first tech champion to have that. She's also the first tech champion to counter Miss, which is pretty neat, and Miss is becoming a lot more of a common thing now, so it's a really good thing to be able to counter. Just easy heal block, so much utility, so much damage. It's so easy to also maintain her debuffs. You can just end a combo with a light, or use a heavy attack, and there's a timer to see how long your stuff is paused for. Like, she's such a good champion. It is insane how good she is, man. Like I said, it feels very purposeful, because she lost to Hercules in the vote. You know, Hercules is insane, so I'm really glad that she's also insane, and she's not even in the rebalancing program, so everyone doesn't have to worry. And I think she's just amazing. I think her is just a big win for the community. I'm really happy with her. I think she came out perfectly. I think she's a super strong champion, and yeah, I think she easily deserves to be under tier. Honestly, one day I could even see her replacing Ghost tier. Obviously, it's way too early for that right now, but I think it is possible. So yeah, that's our two newest additions, Captain Britain and Omega Sentinel, added to the list. Now we can talk about some of the changes I made based off your guys' input. So I feel like let's just start at the Mystic class. So Mojo got a tier up. Someone left a comment and they were just like, why isn't Mojo in God tier? I'm just like, why isn't he in God? You're absolutely right. Why isn't he? That's must have just been an oversight. Making the tier list for the first time, that's a lot of work. Just updating it every month, that's way less work. So there's bound to be some oversights on the first one. And the same thing with Sasquatch. He was way down in the buffable tier. Big oversight. I've also learned a lot more about Sassy in the last month and seen and heard really good things. So put him up to God tier as well. Really happy with those changes and glad you guys voiced them to me. So I think that was the only changes in the Mystic class. Let's move on to the Mutant class. There was definitely a few changes here. Sabretooth, moved him up. Don't know why he was in buffable tier. He's definitely better than that. Yeah, made that change. White Magneto, moved him up from God tier to Beyonder tier. I think the thing about White Magneto is just he's so overshadowed by the Red Magneto. But he is still really good. I do think Red Magneto is overall better, but White Magneto is still really, really good, and he brings his whole pre-fight thing to the equation. So yeah, I agree with him being Beyonder. I think that does make sense. And another interesting thing was a lot of people were a bit adverse to Kitty Pryde being in this spot here, the one above all tier. Some people were saying, the majority of people I'd say think it should be Apocalypse. The majority of people that disagree with Kitty being in it, I think they think Apocalypse. Eliza was saying Omega Red. A couple people said Archangel, and I think one person said Red Mags. However, I still think it's Kitty Pryde all day long. Not gonna change my mind on this one. Sorry, I have her at rank 4, so I've seen firsthand what she's capable to do. Something else with Kitty Pryde, I think, is that I think she is a very, how do I say this? Her skill cap is, I think it's really high, kind of like Tigra, where the better skilled player is that plays Kitty Pryde, just I feel like she can just go even further and further and further. And I'm not trying to say like I'm some amazing player with her in my hands. She's better than all the other mutants. I still have a lot to learn with her, and I there's stuff that I want to do with her, but I feel like I don't even have the skills to do, or maybe I just need to practice more. Or some things it's like a bit RNG. But I think in like the hands of a perfectly skilled player, she's easily number one. I think she's just capable of so much, especially with the Tiger synergy. If we were not counting and that's another thing, I'm technically not really counting synergies on this list, except for Cable here. And someone asked what this meant. This just means Cable with the Horseman synergy. He doesn't actually need to be a Horseman. He just needs APOC on the team to be in this tier. But yeah, I mean, I think Kitty with Tiger synergy is in this spot all day long. And I think but if we were not counting synergies and we're saying Apocalypse and with everything he brings to the mutant class, I could see him being number one. Yeah, I could see that. But again, my opinion, I've played with Kitty quite a lot, more than most, and so I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how nutty she is. I feel like a lot of people are also getting her now than when the last tier list I made, so maybe people have come around a bit more about Kitty seeing how overpowered she is. But yeah, so that's the mutant class. Those are the big changes there. Now science, we had some massive changes here. Oh yeah, we got Joe Fixit and Anti-Venom moved up from Demigod to God tier. I'm very happy with that change. And then we have both Misters, Mr. Fantastic and Mr. Negative, moving up from the God tier to the Beyonder tier. I've seen a lot of really good things from Mr. Negative. He was probably the most requested change, so definitely good to see that. Definitely made a no-brainer. And Mr. Fantastic, I actually took him to rank 3 after last tier list video because of a lot of people were talking about him as well. I've seen some more videos on him. I still haven't played him myself too much. I need to play with him some more, but I definitely do agree with him being in the Beyonder tier, so glad to make that change. And as far as tech class goes, we made some big changes. Already referenced Guillotine moving out of this top 3 spot down here. I think Nimrod is just a lot more relevant. I think Guillotine's not really that relevant anymore, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we did have some big changes. So Civil Warrior moved him up from the Demigod tier. We moved Vision down to God tier. There's a lot of controversy about that. Again, that's my opinion, but I feel like the community is not quite ready for that opinion yet. So I will pull back on that, put him back to God tier. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think Vision, in the right hands, in the right scenario, is certainly capable of Beyonder tier, but at the same time, I don't even want to give 6 stones to Vision, which he would need to be max sig for him to be, in this tier. So he's got potential, but yeah, I think God tier makes more sense for him for now, anyways. And then we had a Penny Parker, moved her up to Beyonder tier. This was also pretty highly requested. So yeah, I need to play with Penny Parker a bit more offensively. I know what she's capable of defensively after fighting her so much, but yeah, I need to learn her a bit more offensively. And then Hulkbuster, we moved him up from God tier to the Beyonder tier as well. I'm a big fan of Hulkbuster, and it's good to see some other people rooting for him. So yeah, I feel pretty happy with these changes. And let's move down to the skill class. So actually, I don't think there was any changes to the skill class, but we did have, someone said this says Kamak. This is just the font. It's actually really weird. That says Karnak. As you can see, that's the R and N. But something that was actually really interesting. So this is the only class where I don't have a champion as the one above all, like the best champion in the class. And it's funny because I read in the comments, and it's so split. Some people are like, "Oh, it's Nick Fury all day long, dude," and then other people are like, "Oh, it's Shang-Chi all day long," and it's hilarious. Like, there's so many people saying it should be Nick Fury, and so many people saying it should be Shang-Chi, and I think that just convinces me even more that I should leave it blank, because I think both of them are so strong. I don't know which one should sit on the throne. I really don't know. It's too hard to pick, and I still don't think that one really stands out that much above the other. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it blank for now. I think it's pretty funny that there's a lot of people arguing for Nick and Shang-Chi. Got a lot of people on both sides. Something else, Kingpin. I think Kingpin with full synergies could potentially be in this spot, actually. I've been hearing some crazy things, and I'm going to be looking into Kingpin a lot more. But I've heard some things, and I think with full synergies could be here. But again, I haven't really incorporated synergies too much into the list. Same with Need Awakening, High Sig. There's definitely stuff that I do want to incorporate in the future, so bear with me. And then the Cosmic class, I think we had a couple changes here. I don't think I had Odin on the last one, or Nova, so added them in. And I think I fixed a typo on Cosmic Ghost Rider. We moved Silver Surfer up a tier. We also moved Gamora up a tier. She got buffed, and I think Gamora was actually really good post buff. So I need to make some content on her. But yeah, I definitely think she has some serious potential. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you. And if you're here, I mean, if you're not already subscribed, I mean, you should. You should also drop a like. But if you made this far, you get a treat. What we're gonna do is rank the new champions. So Black Cat and Scorpion. We're gonna rank them right now. So I think Black Cat, this is gonna be an early prediction, so you know, we'll see what happens. But I think Black Cat goes right here in the Beyonder tier. Yeah, I think she's kind of like a bleed CGR. That's what I get from her. That's what I feel like she's kind of like. I think she has a lot of potential. Definitely need to really want to play her more, especially in like Alliance War, that type of content. So this is a bit of an early prediction, but I think that's where she's going to land for me, in the Beyonder tier. And then got Scorpion. Scorpion, I've never even played him, but he is also going into Beyonder tier. He's got 78% block proficiency, which is higher than Doom, Captain America Infinity War, OG Captain America. His block proficiency is insane. And he seems like a good defender. He seems like he has so many immunities. He has 3 possible immunities, first Rupture Immune Champ. He's got so much going on, so much potential in Scorpion. Yeah, man. So I put him there. But that is going to do it for this tier list, guys. The April tier list. I'm going to read all the comments on this video before I make the next tier list, and I will continue to do that going forward and try to update this every single month for the rest of the year. That is going to do it for the video. If you guys stay this long, you're a real one. I would really appreciate a like, subscribe, push for 100K. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy. Peace out.